Hi, welcome in my studio, and there will be some nice, interesting conversation in next 28 minutes, so sit, have a coffee and enjoy.
All right, now do it in Czech.
Já vás tady vítám u nás ve studiu a děkuji za pozvání na tenhle super podcast a posaďte se, udělejte si kafe, čaj, protože příštích 28 minut uvidíte a uslyšíte super zajímavé věci.
Hi guys, here we are at Tomorrow 55 studio. This is Dan's studio. So speaking of the man, this is Daniel Vojtech. We know him as an agency as the Red Bull photographer because this is how we met. When during Intel Extreme Masters I met Dan, and he was introduced to me as a guy who made photos for Red Bull. And since then we started working. Well, we worked at least 10 times so far, I think. Dan, if you could tell a bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Dan Vojtech and I'm like professional photographer all my life. Like I started with photography when I was maybe 10 years old and still doing it, so I like it, yeah, and I shoot like commercials, extreme sports, cars, lifestyle.
Yeah, Dan is very modest and humble, but the photos that we will put on the screen will tell you otherwise. Dan, if I have your permission, of course, to take a look at your Instagram and take your photos from there, we will put them in the video. You will see. That guy creates pure gold. Speaking of, we are here at the studio. Well, there is a reason. Yeah, the reason is that we are shooting a session with Michaela Strachan. That's the second shoot. The first one happened in London. This is the second one. It's actually even better, even bigger. We have more devices to shoot. But there is a funny story about it as well, because the theme of the shoot is that we will use a tree and a laptop, and then buying that laptop means that we will plant 100 trees. So Michaela is leveling up the laptop with a tree in the other hand. So then we were in London shooting, and then suddenly I think stylist noticed that, but this looked like a ganja tree. And then we started talking about, like, is it really a ganja? You had a few things to say. What did you say then?
It looked like ganja. So
everyone saw the ganja then, yeah. But definitely the stylist implanted that thought into our head, yeah. Before she said anything, we were like, no, not really, yeah, like a normal tree. So speaking of funny stories, I know that also you told me a bit of other stories as well. So one of those stories was about you were shooting an F1 driver, and you had only 90 seconds to shoot him. What was
like sometimes when you shoot like some famous people, for example actors or some sports guys, you are very limited with the time. So sometimes you have like 5 seconds even for the photo shoot, you know.
So how
the guy, he come, you do 2 shots and then he leave.
But is it like for social media photo, or like for a big company?
Yeah, it's like for the big companies. Like we did photo shoot for T-Mobile with soccer player like Peter Czech, and we had like 1 minute, you know, for the photo shoot, and it was complicated. You know, we had to put some background behind him, so you need big light setup. So you need to prepare everything. You know, you need to try it with the assistant. You need to be sure everything is ready and perfect. And yeah, then you need to be fast because, you know, these guys, they don't like photo shoots, you know, like me. So for them, they like the sport. They like, you know, their business. They don't like photo shoots.
So the reason why they have only 60 seconds is because they don't like you?
They don't like photo shoot, you know. They have practice, they are tired, you know.
But they get paid, I guess.
They get paid, but
they are not bothered.
For them, the most important it's like the sport, you know, what they are doing. Some of them are nice. They give you the whole day. You know, even Olympic athletes. You can shoot with them. It's rain, it's cold. They don't care. But some of them are like, yeah, you have 10 seconds and that's it. Or you just want to prepare the flash. You do like 2 test shots and then they leave. You know, like almost without saying a word. So sometimes it's like tough, and you must be ready. You know, prepared, because no one care. You know, like people, if you tell them it was just 1 minute, no, they need a good photo.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the reason why they pay you the money, you know, that you can do the job 100% always, even if you have like few seconds or minutes.
All right, so you are still responsible for it. You know that you will have only 60 seconds, but they tell you that like, mate, you're gonna have 60 seconds, you need to shoot it.
Yeah,
and
sometimes
then
they tell you will have just a little bit of time. Sometimes they don't.
they just leave.
Yeah, they just leave, or they come late, or they are not in the good mood. You know, maybe they could have some injury. So I understand. You know, so I try to make it always fast and easy. You know, for the guys,
All
for
right,
the
I get
athletes,
it.
or for the actors, because I know they are busy. They don't have so much time, and it's like not like the most important thing for them. You know, to do some photos. So I try to make it, like easy for them. If it's
Well, that's
possible.
interesting because you might think that you are a professional, but also they are professionals. So you then meet for a professional reasons, but then you have to be more professional than they are actually to make the job work. Yeah, I guess.
Some of them are like David Coulthard. Like he come, he give you the look. It look amazing. You do the photo and that's it. And he do his job like perfect. But you also need to be like perfect, There is no time to change the light or should be like this or this. You need to be ready. Everything must be 100% like ready before the shoot, and then you need to do the job.
How did you end up at that level? Yeah, because like the photographers I worked with, they were on different levels. Sometimes even the good ones or the expensive ones, they did take their time. Yeah, like hundreds of shots, and then they let you decide which is the best and so on. When I think about the professional, I think he's the one that should be doing this job. So like, but this is not where you started. Yeah, you started somewhere lower. How did you work your way up to that level? Yeah, to work with those sportsmen.
I think, I don't know, like you need to do your job. You need to be like always ready and polite, I think that's important, because if you are like normal person, people they like to work with you, So I think this is like the main reason, like listen to the people what they want and give them what they want, like some of the people they can do the job like very good, but they don't listen, For example, if you ask me for the photos, I do the nice photos, but different than you need. Does it make sense?
No, it doesn't. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I think it's also important to listen to people, ask them what they want. Think about it and then give it to them back.
Speaking of, there's another story that you told me about a photo shoot that you had to prepare. I think it was somewhere in Spain that you got a lookbook or like a book, briefing book from Skoda, or how we the rest of Europe pronounce it, Skoda, and it was like 150 pages, and it didn't even involve the car. What was that all about?
Yeah, like if it's like big advertising. Which you do for big agency, they always give you like big brief because they get the money for, to prepare all these briefings. So sometimes it's like crazy. You have like 150 pages and there is like everything like about mood, about accessories, about locations, about everything. So sometimes it's like very time consuming. Just if you have the call, it takes 2-3 hours just go through, like.
The story that you told me was about you had to go there, take the photos of the location without the car, because then when they actually put the car in there, then you have to recreate the reflections of the location in the car or something like that. It was something like that, if I remember the story correctly.
I think I don't know.
No, all right. But then there was another story when you closed down the Prague. When you had to do a shoot for Skoda as well, I think. How do you do that? Yeah? Is it complicated, like to close down a street in a capital city of a country? How do you do it?
I think it's not difficult because if you do like the job like this, you have some kind of like production company for it, and they help you always. So you know where you want to shoot the car, you tell them. And for example, like you have the car, which you shoot it from another car, and then for example you have 2 or 3 cars blocking the traffic. So because if you shoot, for example, Skoda, you want to have just the Skoda on the photo. If you shoot at 5 o'clock, like PM, there is like big traffic, and you cannot have like different brands, so you need to block it somehow. So
but those would be police cars.
Yeah, like you tell it to the police that you're gonna shoot there, you have permissions, but then you block it yourself. It depends. Sometimes there must be police. Sometimes they know you are professional, so they just leave and.
And you can block your own streets.
Yeah, like it's like moving blockade actually. So you don't close it for the half of the day.
Right.
But you have, for example, one car. You shoot in from this car. You shoot in this car, and then there are like 3 different cars in all lanes. For example, 200 meters away, going super slow and blocking all the cars. So the street is empty.
Does it cost anything?
Like you need to get permissions, you know, like this kind of movable permission. And then you need like 3 different cars blocking the street, you know.
I mean the permission, yeah, I get the production cost, of course, but...
yeah, but it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal.
In every city you can get the permission, you need to tell them, and it's fine. You need some time, you know, maybe 1 month, 2 months to get it, but I think it's possible.
But if the police comes with you, do you pay them as well?
Yeah, you need to pay escort. Like the police also.
That's nice, yeah?
Or we shoot like in the US and we had to pay for the ranger. Because we are shooting and it was kind of national park. So we want to shoot it from the drone. So we had to pay the ranger just to stay next to the guy with the drone, and you need to pay him like,
because it's national park.
Yeah, and there is the rule, there must be the ranger. So the guy, he's next to you, you do the job.
Right, yeah.
And that's it, even if it's like 5 minutes.
Well, you are a famous photographer, so people hire you, but then you go to a new place that you never have been before, and then there are some local rules. Like, for example, we went to France to shoot esports videos for Predator, and obviously there is the Eiffel Tower. But then suddenly you have to have a special permission to have the Eiffel Tower in the shot. We didn't really have time to do it because it was basically we were shooting on the day, and then we had to next day morning we had to release the video. So to get the permission, it wouldn't be that fast. And we have already pre-booked the panorama of the city. So the guy presenting was blocking the view of the Eiffel Tower. So we had whole Paris panorama without the Eiffel Tower. It was the strangest thing ever, but you know, we had to do it. So how do you know about the laws that apply in the separate place, like the ranger or something? Do you have a local scout or something?
There is like different weird laws. I think with the Eiffel Tower you can shoot it during the day,
yeah,
but you cannot shoot it at night because they have the copyrights for the...
Yes.
There is like so many strange like,
exactly right, yeah.
Copyrights.
Of course we learned it the hard way, but you know, like that happens, yeah.
Yeah. Like in the US, for example, we had a location a scout. So we call him and he told us all like restrictions.
All right, so just location like, scout, yeah.
Like
right.
Depends what you shoot. You know, if you're shooting the cars, it's more complicated because they are on the roads. And they are big, you know, if you need to do a few portraits, that's much more easier. Sometimes you can kind of like do it like, you know.
Right, and otherwise people get angry.
Yeah, but with the cars it's more complicated, for example. So depend what you shoot and also on the scale of the production. If you have like small production, just like one photographer, one assistant, and you shoot like with the daylight, basically you don't need any permissions like outside. But if you have some light stand, for example in Czech, I can shoot outside anywhere. But for example, if I want to put the tripod, that means I'm blocking the street and I need a permission. So,
right.
But if assistant hold the tripod or the light stand, that's fine. So,
yeah. All those artificial rules, yeah. Speaking of big productions, you were working for Netflix. Could you tell us about it a little bit?
Yeah, it was like we did like a few projects for them. One of them was like shooting for Drive to Survive, the series about Formula One on Netflix, and I think it was a nice experience to see how this big team works. Because you were doing only the colorization, right? I did the stills for them, like
stills, right?
Because they need the stills, you know, which they are using on the, for example, on the TV. You know, shoot the TV show, and there are some photos. So how many people were on the crew? I think it was like for the filming, it was pretty small crew, but it was like documentary movie, you know, and there were maybe 20 people. which it's not bad for documentary movie, like
right.
not movie, it's like series, you know.
Yeah.
I think there were like 4 camera guys, 2 sound guys, some production people. Yeah, so it was.
Was it cool? Like, what? I mean, if I imagine guy like you, like I hold you on a very high level. I would say as a professional. So when you are hired just to do stills for a show, that means that probably there are 20 guys who are at least as professional as you. So how was it working with a team like this?
I think it was nice experience because it was so high level, like in so interesting environment, especially Formula One, with all different restrictions because we are shooting in the garage and usually no people can enter the garage, or we were shooting interviews with the drivers or with some Formula One bosses. So it was like nice experience how to communicate with the people, not like from the photography side, it was also nice, but how to handle the production, how to get where you need to be, and
right.
how they communicate, for example, how do they plan everything. That was like even more interesting than like shooting the photos, you know, to see how it works.
But was it interesting and you would love to do it together again, or was it interesting but no more?
It was nice. I would love to do it again, but I think maybe not like many years, you know. It's nice experience. It's nice to see this environment, but after I did maybe 4 races, 5 races, and then it's like same and same.
Oh, right.
So.
And was it like intensive or like rather chill on the production?
It was quite intensive, yeah, because it's like quite stressful because there is a lot of emotions, there is a lot of money in Formula One, concentrated on one small place. So you could feel, you know, like emotions when you shoot some drivers and they are not good, you know, at the race. It's like stressful.
So you met all of those guys, all the racers.
You need to try to be invisible.
Right. Okay.
There was, I think, there was some Formula One pilot, and Netflix asked me to do some headshots of them, you know, if it's possible. So I went to the garage, asked him, can I do the portrait of you just quick? And he was like, who are you? Get out, this guy. And he started screaming. I was like, sorry. And then he was I'm just kidding, you know, like.
Oh, right. Yeah, oh, Jesus, yeah.
I was scared, yeah. There was the Hamilton. They told me that I need to be always like 2 meters away from him.
All right.
There is someone always next to you, and like checking what are you shooting, because there is a lot of secret stuff, you know, in Formula One. There is a lot of spies that's like real, you know, so they were like checking what are you doing, which way are you shooting, you know, what's on the frame.
But are you like yourself on a hobby level interested in F1? Are you watching?
After this experience I watch more races than before, yeah,
right.
Because for me it was just the race. But then you see this background, and it's even more interesting than the races, you know, like what's behind.
Right.
So if you watch the series, you will see it's like a very interesting environment.
I'm asking because sometimes it helps to, usually it helps to, when you talk to people like this, to know about them or know about the stuff that they are doing. Not always you need it, of course, you can't be expert in everything, especially if you jump from a project to project. But then when we were doing the Worlds with Predator, we were traveling all around the Europe. For the split, and then we were interviewing players, so you had to know what questions to ask them, what to know for them to open up. Once you ask the right question, they open up. But if you keep talking about generic stuff like how was the game or something like that, they wouldn't open up. They would just say, oh, well, it's all good, yeah, very nice. But then
I think the research, it's like important. It's part of the job. And when you are on a certain level, you need to do it. Like. Before I went Formula One, because Formula One it's quite well known, so you know all drivers. But if not, it's important to check, even how they look like or to know something.
Yeah.
Formula One is popular, but I shoot a lot of different sports. So I always try to Google it. I shoot some athletics, so like high jump. So I had to Google, what's the athlete, what's his background, how some nice photos look like, what's good, what's not, and I always do some research. Same with the games, when I go to shoot some games, I always need to Google what game is it, and the best is try to play it, because it's like shooting, it's one part of the thing, but when you shoot the people, like it's more about not the lights, but about psychology, about conversation, like with the people. Because sometimes if they are not professionals, like models, they could be stressed, or they are stressed, like almost always. So you need to make them feel comfortable. You need to speak with them, and if you speak about something what they like, what they know, then they are more relaxed. So it's not about the lights, but it's more about psychology sometimes. So it's important to know about, know the information about what you are shooting.
I had one more question, but I guess we kind of answered that during our conversation so far, because there's a lot of talk about AI, and actually the previous episode of the podcast that we are recording, my colleagues from the agency and myself, we did talk about AI, how we can impact our jobs and so on. But there's always this question: could AI replace you? And speaking about how you see your job, about meeting people, doing research, psychology, and so on, the answer is a definite no. But maybe there are some ways that AI could help you. I'm talking about ChatGPT, Midjourney, OpenAI in general, or just in general AI. What do you think about it?
I think it will change world as everything. Everything used to be different. Like even if you work in the factory, there must be 10 people to do like one job, and now like it could be done by 3 people. So it's about the progress of civilization. It's just not about AI, it's about everything. It's like improving, and it's like progress which we cannot stop. It's same with the technology, with the computers. They are faster and faster, and people, they are working less and less time. People, they used to work on Saturdays. It was normal. And now you work in Monday till Friday, then it will be Monday till Thursday, and it's because,
let's hope,
like automatization, about artificial intelligence.
But on the other hand, we have Midjourney that draws pretty nice pictures, but then still yet on this photo shoot we meet at your studio, we have a stylist, we have a makeup artist. Usually there is a hairstylist, there is set assistant, and some extra people as well, and myself. I'm not sure what I'm doing here, but it's been fun so far. But nothing has changed, yeah. So now the AI, nothing has changed recently. So do you use AI yourself or anything? Like mood boards, for example. I can imagine writing to.
I tried a few times. Sometimes it's nice, for example, someone asks you to do some text which you need to do just to do it.
Yeah.
So AI can help you save the time. You can write text about this, some treatment or whatever, which it's not so important. You need to do it. So this is definitely the good thing. Or for example, for some sketches. You have the photo shoot, you need to do kind of like mood board, storyboard.
Yeah, that's the only thing actually.
This can save you a lot of time. I think, it takes some job from another like storyboard artist, for example, but I think it can save time. Are you
because you don't sound too worried about AI so far at least.
I can be worried, but I cannot change it. So it's
true. But also, I've got the thing. I got the thought like this, that with very basic stuff being created by AI, it makes all the original stuff, all the stuff that has something in it, some artistry, some even humor to it. It makes it even more important. And you being on I would say top level already, I think it will make your work even more demanded, yeah, because the level of stuff you do, it can't be replaced by AI, because by the amount of research and psychology and all the other extra stuff apart from pressing the shutter you do, that's something that AI can't do yet.
But for a certain level, it will steal the jobs. Like for some basic,
probably
photography or basic graphic designers, it will take the job. But on certain level, you still need people, because I'm not sure if people they know how it works. Maybe the people who create the AI they don't know how it works.
So for now we are not really intimidated by AI, I would say.
You never know, could be like super intelligent but still feel like not so intelligent because it's intelligent.
It hides from us, yeah.
If I would be AI, I would do it like this. I would pretend that I'm like stupid AI, prepare everything and then destroy the planet.
Thank you, Dan, for the conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Always pleasure working with you. Hoping to do yet another one with you in the future.
Yeah, looking forward.
Thanks, guys.